standard turn 0. Okay, so this is one where it's just a turn 0. Interesting. I think the play here is we put a pawn there. And then we take. And let's get our bishop set up here. That seems like a pretty cool place for a bishop. Okay, yeah, sure. Sacrifice your rook for a bishop. That's fine by me. Prepare to get this knight taken. Goodbye. Okay, and you took my knight with your bishop. I guess that's okay. Such because I'm gonna get a queen. Good luck stopping me. So I briefly considered taking this bishop with the queen, but then I noticed the queen. So that would obviously be a terrible idea. I mean, we could set up to back up our queen with our queen. Not sure I like that much. Could get the knight involved. Knights are tricky. See, it's annoying that he moved his king there, because now we can't just take the bishop. We might be able to consider, though, like we could move this queen back to the past. I'm not sure how useful that would be. Like, if we put the queen here, is that useful to us? Not actually sure it necessarily is. Would be somewhat interesting, I suppose, but honestly, the queen would probably just end up getting trapped. I don't think she's actually going to be any more useful there than she is right now. I think ultimately we do want to start developing some of these pieces, so I think maybe we do something not all that flashy and just push a pawn forward to get this bishop activated. I'll be honest, I didn't expect them to pull the time-traveling queen maneuver. Now, they've got 2 queens on this this version of events. Well, regardless, might as well take the knights. Okay. I actually kind of like the idea if we push the pawn forward and get the align with that bishop. Good. Okay. We get the bishop. We can't move him too far because we need him protect. Well, actually, he's not in danger right now, is he? So we can put him anywhere in this diagonal that we want. Actually, this seems like a pretty good spot. Okay. That knight's looking somewhat annoying, but I'm not too concerned immediately. We'll put our own knight there. We're really setting up for like a castle. Okay, that's fine. We take with the pawn. And over here, because we're back in action over here, I'm going to say, honestly, I think them moving that queen was probably a mistake, because I would just take your bishop, don't I? Okay, and now I just time jump and take your queen. Or I just use this bishop. I guess here's the ultimate question. Would we rather have 2 queens on this board up top or 2 queens on this board on the bottom? And heck, if I'm going to take with anyone, I'd probably take with the rook here. Like, why did you do that with your queen? I do not understand. I'd say we'll just take the bishop and put him there. And on this board, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to start covering this square. In order to do that, it's going to be tough. Or we can do an attack on this side. That's probably going to be the better option. So let's get prepped for that by moving our queen into a decent position. Okay. I guess you're trying to activate your queen. That's fine. Let's actually castle before we do anything crazy. Likewise, I think castling over here would probably be a good idea as well. That or are we just going for the kill? Okay, so who can you possibly attack? What did you... You didn't take anything, okay. You're just being kind of weird and annoying. So I don't think there's anything that would be able to stop this. Here's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if this will work, but so we've got a check going on here. I don't think there's any way for the king to avoid this, save for... escaping to another dimension. If we sacrifice this queen up here, then you won't... Well, no. You would be able to escape, it's just... Well, would you? Yeah, if you move... You could always go to the past, though. Okay, so that's a terrible idea. We need to just keep things solid over here. Don't get too crazy with things. Okay, alright. In that case, let's threaten your pawn. I didn't think you could do that. Apparently I was wrong. Oh well. We would want to ideally be able to defend that queen, but I'm not sure how we can necessarily make that happen. Well, we can at the very least check this king. And apparently that's just game winning, so yeah. Because we're checking a king in the past. Gotta always watch out for those like crazy... And this queen's just checking all the kings. Nice, nice. The queens weren't defending each other, but yeah. The double check. Checkmate. Perfect. Wonderful. Queens were so prominent in that last game, so how would we do some no queen action? Okay. No queens, eh? Well then, if in a world with no queens, clearly you're gonna start... Well, no, you're not gonna push the king pawn forward. You're gonna push your queen pawn... Well, it's not a queen pawn anymore, is it? This is a trap, we just stop you. Okay. I can see why you do that, but I can see why I do this, so yeah. And here's an idea. What you gonna do about that? Thought so. Thought so. Okay. I think we ought to try to castle, so we'll get this bishop out of the way. Yeah, I guess we take here. Then you probably take with the rook. Nothing's going to be particularly under threat immediately, although it will be annoying that your rook will be free as a result. Alternatively, we can push forward, then you probably take with that pawn, and then I would take with that pawn, and then I'm kind of stuck here. Or I might take with the... Ooh, I actually like this. We push forward. You take with that pawn. I don't take with the pawn. I take with my knight. Much more interesting. Okay. That's not unexpected. Here's an idea. We push the pawn forward. You take with the pawn. I take your bishop. And then that gets a discovered attack on your rook, which you then probably just move out of the way. So it might not actually be very good. But if you do that, then I actually can move my knight out of the way of getting retaken, which effectively means I get your bishop for the cost of a pawn. Or you just don't do that, I guess. I'll take with the pawn. Ooh, that does leave my king rather exposed. I'm not sure I like that. How quickly can I get my king unexposed is the question. Not quick enough. We're taking with this pawn. Okay, yeah, and then I take your bishop. I didn't expect you to just take the knight, but I'll take it. I can accept this as an outcome of how things went today. Our king is kind of, undefended there, although if we can angle up this bishop quite nicely. Thus far, not concerned. Oh, I guess you do have my bishop kind of pinned in there, so I guess I'll do this. Then you take with the knights, then I take your pawn. You're probably going to move the rook. Okay. Then from here, now I might start considering castling, especially since you've got your bishops out of the way. I don't actually need to worry about those open files quite as much anymore. Their pawn structure really has my knight quite hemmed in here, so what I'm thinking is maybe... Well, no, that's terrible. That's terrible. Actually, I need to defend this pawn because it's very weak right now. Like, right now we've got take and then I can't take back. Or take and then I can't take back, which is arguably even worse. By argument, I mean certainly even worse. So I think I actually take the bishop and fall back to defend our pawn. Okay, and then I take with my bishop. And then I take with my king. And now, I mean, I don't see how I lose this. if I'm being perfectly honest. Okay, good luck. Here, defend that pawn. Then I take with the king. Then I take with, I get the queen. Yeah, I will say, this is actually the rare event where there's a legitimate endgame going on. Like, we don't normally get to the endgame in 5D chess. Alright. Wonderful. Wonderful. That was a decent little game. A decent little game of no queens that ended with a checkmate delivered by a queen. Ain't that something for you? I like Marauders. It's a very weird setup, but I like it. It's interesting. So we've got to do something over here. Let's go with this. Seems like an interesting way to go about things. It activates the rook a bit, technically. Let's start a beeline to try to get a queen made. Okay. Brawn, keep on moving. Let's get the rook involved. Now you can't... Well, I mean, you can make a queen, but then I just take your queen. So, not the best move. I made a queen myself, and I take your brawn. Very nice. Okay, this is check, apparently. I'll take with the king. And now I take my queen. I put her right here. And I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure what you're going to do to... Well, you can probably block with your rook. Nope, I win. Very nice, very nice. I'd say that was some intelligent play, that game. Very intelligent. Excessive. Oh man, this game mode. This one is crazy. Let's push forward. And then we take back. And now your bishop is taken over there. We can't actually take with anything at this moment in time. Yeah, I'm starting to see a potential error in my ways. In this case, I'll take this pawn. Apparently that was a check. Okay. Yeah, and then I take you out with my own bishop. And my center here has been kind of hollowed out, which is concerning to say the least. Ooh, I like this position for a bishop. And getting another timeline involved, I think actually is a good thing for this one, because that means we start actually having a way for our knights and... Or not knights, our unicorns and dragons to move. Oh. I can't say that's the wisest move. Okay, well, we've got a check going on. You're checking a king from the past. That's fine, because I'll probably just take you with a bishop. And over here, oh, they're getting their queen involved. They do have more queens than I do. That is concerning, but I can use a rook to defend. Interesting. Interesting. You just trade the queen for a rook. I can't say I'd recommend it under most circumstances, but who knows? Maybe these are not most circumstances. I mean, I could just take your rook. But at the same time, then you just take me with your king. So at least, I probably want to do at least this first. I don't think anything can just kind of secretly, sneakily take my queen. But you never know. Okay, well, I guess we will take with a knight. And that actually puts you in check. Additionally, there is a pawn. What did you even capture? Oh, you captured my rook. Okay. I guess that's reasonable enough. And actually, call me crazy, I'm not actually convinced this is a take-back situation, because I think that puts my king in far too exposed of a position. I think this is a... there are no more queens left, so I think leaving a diagonal open is actually not that bad. Well, okay. Other than the fact that there's a bishop currently on that diagonal, yeah, that's a bit bad. Okay, you're checking probably, yeah, the king from 1 turn ago. That's fine. We'll get our rook out here. We should remember there are 3 kings involved in each of these games. Each of these timelines. I was going to say, maybe we could get the unicorn involved, but at the same time, I'm not sure getting the unicorn involved is actually, good. Simultaneously, though, it would be cool. You cannot deny that it would, in fact, be quite cool. What we do want to actually do, though, is the whole, bishop maneuver we were talking about. You took the rook from the other timeline. Clever, clever. But now you don't have a rook in this time, or you have 1 less rook in this timeline. You still have plenty overall, but, there's slightly less. Well, now what? Now what, indeed. Because here's the thing, rooks are kind of terrible at time travel, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. I think maybe we take this knight and place him right here. He could trade bishop for knight, but then that puts him in a sticky situation where my queen is forking his kings. At the same time, simultaneously, we likely want to do something to make this area a bit of a terrible place for him, so he won't be able to defend with it as easily. I do kind of like the idea of maybe just putting some pressure and sniping at one of his rooks. Okay, we are in check now. That's fine, because we can take with a pawn. We're starting to run out of things to just take with, though, which is noteworthy. Over here, at this point, we take with the queen, get that fork going on. Fork the kings. Taken out by a king. Did not see that one coming. Should have, but I didn't. So now there are no more queens on the board. Okay, here's an idea. Rook takes, and then you're going to take with a rook again, and then I take with a bishop, and then you take with a king. And actually, this doesn't really work out for me, does it? Here's an idea. We take this rook, put it over here, and now we've got more rooks. Okay, you've taken a unicorn to the past. Interesting. So now we've got to play on this board. Now this is a case where I'm kind of thinking we're running out of decent pieces. Pretty soon it's just going to the dragons and unicorns. Also, I'd just like to point out real quickly, I think this is by far the longest excessive game we've had. Which is cool. Very nice. Nice to actually have one of these, play out. I do somewhat like the idea of just taking, my dragon and going back to a simpler time when, I had a queen still alive. I kind of like that idea. Now, granted, putting the dragon here will get it captured by a pawn, so maybe the unicorn can do something better? Hello, unicorn? No, you can't do anything at all. Okay, dragon it is then. Because I do like having queens in play, so we'll sacrifice the dragon to get a queen, effectively. Or just win. That works too. What? Oh! See, I wish I was clever enough to actually think of doing that consciously, but yes. See, we put the dragon back in time, which created a new timeline where there's a queen here. And this is the queen that got taken by the king, I think, right? Yes. This is the queen that got taken by the dimension-jumping king. So, that means, by creating the timeline and bringing that queen back into existence, she was able to target the king that in a different timeline jumped timelines to take her out. I love this game. In what other game does that sort of stuff happen? It's like Terminator nonsense up in here.